Well, everybody, hello. I'm Marc Thielman. I'm the school superintendent running for governor. It's Marc with a C. C stands for conservative, and we have a very, very special guest, and it's such an honor to be here with Kevin Jenkins. He is just a warrior activist, a big advocate for medical freedom, for liberty, for so many conservative causes. Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Well, Skip, first of all, I'm with Marc, so I want you to know I'm with you, and I think it's courageous what you're doing. I mean, running for governor in this state must be a very, very tough thing, but I got to tell you something. I think Oregon would do itself a justice by supporting you and standing with you, because I haven't seen anybody like you in this state that's really standing up and fighting for the people of Oregon, where medical freedom, where civil rights, where human rights, all of those things really mean something. And this whole notion that we can't be unified around medical freedom or unified around the flag or unified around the country, you know, is something that I've never seen before. So it's great that you're doing this, because it takes a lot of courage. You know, running for office is not for the faint-hearted. I live with a politician, and so thank God she just retired. She was elected at 30. So she had been around, we've been around a long time in business and government for many, many years. So we know how tough it is. So when I heard about you, and then when I met you, it was just exciting. I mean, for me right now, my primary focus is to run Freedom Med, which I'm the CEO of, but because of my life and because of what I've been given as a young man, I understand how important it is to fight for faith, family, and freedom. So, you know, I can give you my deeper resume, but right now I believe that we should be moving from the defensive to the offensive. We should be looking at how to build a new world that we want. We already know that our government has failed us. We already know that in some of our churches, they forgot all about Jesus in the blink of an eye. We know what the education cartel and all of these agencies that we gave our power to, what they are all up to. They've all been captured up and down the system. There is no place. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, when you say ACLU, that really meant something. Now all of these agencies work for big pharma, work for big tech, and I think the radical left is a destructive force that's not trying to destroy you as just an individual. They're trying to eviscerate humanity. And we need to understand that this is not about race. This is not about, you know, class. This is about power, control, and money. And we've given that away to all of these agencies. We've given it away to our local governments. We've given it away. And it's time for us to reclaim our voice and teach the world that Americans really do understand what freedom really is.
Absolutely.
We do understand that we do have a constitutional republic that we value, and we do understand that the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth, all of these amendments really mean something. And I think what we did over the last decade, several decades, we just got away from what this country is. And we dialed into what was on TV and the illusion of what they were selling us. And I think COVID has allowed us to take back the veil.
You know, it really has. You know, you made so many great points. I know you've been all over the country. I know you've been in rural areas, urban areas, suburban areas. I don't think I've met anyone who's had, and I've met a lot of, you know, there's powerful people here at this Great Awakening Tour that we're at here in Kaiser. But I don't think I've met anyone as plugged in as you are to every aspect of American life.
Well, you know, I never thought about it that way. You know what? I never thought about it that way, but when people tell me about a poll, I said, well, where are you going? Call me up. I've been to 60 cities and 40 states, and I'm going back to some of them now, and I'm seeing a big change. More men are getting involved. You know, more young people are getting involved. And I was very proud one day. I think I was in San Diego, and before that, I started asking men to stand up in the audience. I said, it's time for you to stand up in the public square and fight for your family, fight for your wife, fight for your children. You don't have an option to go look at football on Sunday and basketball on Sunday. We're fighting for our humanity. We're fighting for the very essence to live. You know, don't tell me things are getting better. Things aren't getting better. They're getting worse because we still haven't snatched back the power that we gave up for free. So I learned a lot on the ranches around this country, in every little corner. And when you talk to people, their primary focus was their family. Their primary focus was their God. Their primary focus is how do we earn a living. That's it. Nobody was talking about black and white, and nobody has the time for that. And what you're seeing on legacy media right now is this constant drumbeat of why we should hate one another. I don't buy that.
Well, you know, and I appreciate you saying that. You know, what's so powerful is you've gone out and plugged in with all these different aspects of American life, different geographic regions, different economies, different industries, and you found a common experience. I mean, you're open, you listen, and you find out it all boils back to faith, family, and freedom. I mean, it's a fundamental thing. It's in our souls. It's in the American way of life. and it is the great unifier. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Listen, I'm looking at your American flag lapel. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because when I talk about the American flag, people find that to be very strange because I'm supposed to hate the American flag. I don't even understand that, and let me tell you why. In every war in this country, my people fought in every war in this country to preserve their freedom that they just received and that they're still fighting for, but they fought in every war. So for me to say I don't respect the flag after so much sacrifice, that says a lot. So when I see people turn their back on the flag and they do all of these things that suggest that they're anti-American, well, I'm like, well, you're anti my ancestors. You're anti every person that I know that mother and father and family members fought to save this country, to preserve this country. You don't get the right to do that because now you're spitting on their graves.
Yes.
No one gets the right to do that. So I tell people, why do you hate the country so much? Well, it's anti this. Well, wait a minute. And in every black city in America, I've been in, right?
Yep.
So if they're failing schools there, is the government, majority of the government's corrupt? Yes. Forget about the black. I'm just saying, so won't you deal with the issues in your own community before you talk about anything else? You always tell people, stop worrying about the barbarians at the gate and worry about the barbarians inside the gate that look like you.
Absolutely.
And we all are suffering from that right now. I don't care what community you're in. Government officials that we elected now tell us they own us. They can now tell us what to do.
Well, they're openly saying
That's
that.
right. They can rewrite the DNA of our faith. And Mark, I got to tell you, I am so happy that people like yourself around this country is taking this serious and putting your life, your children. I asked you how many children you had. I mean, think about that. Your family must be very, very proud of you. I know I'm proud of you.
They are.
And that's why I said the last time I met you, I will come and give you any support. And any of these communities that are attempting to take your voice away from you, that's anti-American.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you censor Americans? How do you lie on Americans that are trying to do something great for this country, to preserve the freedom for our children? Right? I mean, come on, Mark, I got to tell you something. I mean, you're one courageous person.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I didn't wake up in the morning to be one.
I know. I don't think any of us do.
But the issue is I have a strong sense of duty. I love my children. I just had grandchildren this year. I think I mentioned that to you. Holding my first grandson. And that was a really emotional experience. I didn't expect the kind of emotional response I had holding that little baby.
Isn't that something? That's amazing.
Well, and what the thing that instantly went through my mind is my grandson going to grow up free?
Well, you know what? I have two grandsons, right? One is 17 and one is 11.
Oh,
and I got to tell you something. I had no idea they were paying me so much attention. I'm very close to them, and I love them, and I'm raising them as men.
Yeah.
Men to lead, not, I tell people, I think a lot of men in this country been drinking too much soy. They lost their guts. I don't know where these guys are. I mean, you don't get me started on that. But my youngest grandson, my oldest grandson, wanted to work a part-time job. So he went and got the part-time job, and he was doing okay. His mother was like, oh, Dad, he's spending too much money. I said, it's his first job. Give him a break. I mean, wait till he gets 18, then we'll start having that.
I think we all went through that at some point in our life.
Right, the young man, it's just like, I got some money, I'm free, I can do what I want to do. But his boss came to him, I was away on a trip, as usual, and his boss came to me and said, well, you can't work here, because if you don't take the experimental biologic, you can't work here. So what happened? My grandson tells him, well, I can't work here. My family does not believe in this.
Amen.
And then he called his father, and his father went down there and took care of the whole thing. But I was so proud of him that he stood up 17 years old now, but he was 16 when he did it. So if we just work on our young men and give them courage and tell them that it is our right to stand up against tyranny, look at how good the world would be if we were teaching our young men that, taking them off of these computers, taking them off from being indoctrinated with hate and confusion. I mean, it's terrible what we've allowed to happen to our children.
Yeah. Well, and you're talking about a relationship and also a recognition that young men have an obligation to grow up to be real men.
That's right. And and this whole attack on, maleness in this country offends me. And we can't let it happen.
No.
We can't tell our kids they can be whatever they want to be. No, that's not how it works. In my household, I got to tell you, my father and mother, they were strict. My father said, let me just remind you of something. My money, my house, and guess what? If you don't like it, get out.
Amen.
Right? I mean, it was really simple.
It's hard to argue with that.
You couldn't argue. He said, this is a dictatorship. This is not a democracy. Now, when you get out on your own, you do what you have to do. You know what my message to my daughters were? My house, my money. This is a dictatorship. You don't like it.
I love it.
It was funny, though.
Well, but that's powerful, and that sense of ownership. We have a government that doesn't want your children to have a home.
No.
To say my house.
No.
My
nothing.
rules.
They want us to. They want us to live on the dole.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that Black Americans made a mistake in the '60s.
Yep.
Coming into the '60s, we believed in ownership. We believed in family and faith. We are conservative by nature, not
Absolutely.
this political term conservative. I mean conservative because we believe in fiscal responsibility.
Yep.
We believed in family. We believed in order. And all of a sudden, we cut this dirty deal during the Lyndon B. Johnson presidency where we gave our families and our soul over to the government, and we forgot about ownership. So we chose politics over ownership, and that's where we made our mistake.
Well, and I think that's changing. I mean, I see
yeah.
that all over.
Don't you see it now? I mean, all over it, no matter where you are, in urban, suburban, rural, people are like, no, I own this.
Well,
I own my space.
You made a comment about COVID kind of being the thing that shook people awake, and it changed the way we see things. And I've been all over this state trying to run for governor, as you know, and I've met every kind of person you could ever imagine meeting from all over the world, every ethnicity, every cultural background, rural, suburban, urban, any indice you could apply. I think I've met just about everything that I could ever imagine. But what I've come to understand is there is no stereotypical conservative.
Yep. There you go.
You can't say it's only the white or
I'm always fascinated by that because Frederick Douglass, conservative.
Yep.
There's the principles and values. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Look, every conservative, like every Black American, we're not monolithic.
No.
I mean, so I don't even understand that. That is the greatest con game ever. But the 4 values that I think principles: family, faith, and freedom, and ownership. We all believe in that.
Yeah.
I don't believe anybody would be against that. I mean, and what they've done is distorted into this ugly thing that, legacy media has tried to define, and I think people are waking up to that now.
Mm-hmm.
I think all communities around the country now are saying, no, we're not buying that. We're not watching your mess anymore. You're not teaching our kids that anymore. We're at the tipping point to save humanity.
Well, and I can't stress enough, faith, family, and freedom. I know we got to round this up real quick, and I tell you, the wisdom that pours out of you, it's truly an honor to be sitting with you.
Well, we're going to be doing this more than one time. And guess
absolutely.
what? Wherever you're walking in your state, if you call me and I'm around your state, no matter what neighborhood, no matter where we are, I'm going to be standing with you, Mark.
Well, it's a
because
real
you know
honor,
why?
my friend.
I'm with Mark.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
So real quick, everybody, I'm Marc Thielman, Marc with a C. C stands for conservative. It's markfororegon.com. This is Kevin Jenkins. He's a great American, a great man, a great father, and he's a warrior. And he just sits down and he will tell you the straight truth. It's the kind of politics that really is resurging. It's a great awakening here in Kaiser. Folks, plug in, check out the campaign. Again, markfororegon.com. This is the time and the season for everybody to open their hearts, fire up their prayers, and open their wallets, because we are entering the 3-week blitz till ballots go out. And we need a grassroots campaign. We need to be out there. We need to have the name recognition. We need to compete. It's going to take some money to do that because we're kicking up some TV. We got some great commercials coming. To the almost 2,000 donors to date, thank you everybody for donating. Give what you can. What's your freedom worth? I say it's worth a few dollars. It's definitely worth your prayer. Prayers are the best. And if you want to volunteer, contact the campaign. Again, it's Mark with a C. C stands for conservative for Oregon.com. Well, Kevin, thanks again.
Thank you, my friend.
God bless you.
It's a pleasure.
All right,
It's
we'll
a
round
pleasure.
this up.
Thank you.
Take care.